We have an update on the NASCAR lawsuit, including one charter team is not happy with how NASCAR has done things throughout this lawsuit, and IndyCar scores big in ratings but loses a star. Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Jed. Welcome back to episode of Inside Line. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We got so much to talk about in the world of motorsports. Let's not waste any time and jump right into it. We're going to first start off with the NASCAR lawsuit. We have an update, a team's response. 2311 and Front Row Motorsports responded to what took place in Friday's legal ruling from NASCAR, and we're going to go over that. Not much to really go over though in terms of any new developments, some things that we've kind of already known for a while now, but anyways, let's still go over it. So NASCAR backtracked when they were saying how they were planning on distributing the charters to at least one team owner, or some of the charters to one team owner that was heavily invested in wanting to get into the NASCAR Cup Series. They were going to do that right away. The name was redacted in the filings, but NASCAR has since backtracked on that by saying that they will hold the 6 charters, that was 2311's and Front Row Motorsports' charters, through their antitrust lawsuit. So they will hold it for now, instead of just releasing it or giving it to at least one of the team owners that wants to get into NASCAR or wants to, be a part of the sport right away. However, 2011 Front Row suggested that NASCAR's recent actions, or the recent backtracking, they do not do enough to prevent imminent harm to their business, and instead offer an alternative course of action in mediation. Basically, what they're saying is that what NASCAR did is not enough because they feel like they are still possibly in irreparable harm. One of the examples that they give is of course Tyler Reddick, saying that 2011 is in breach of his contract by stating that Reddick was promised to have a chartered Toyota car at 2011 Racing. So the teams are saying that, they're backtracker, they're trying to make up for it, but it's still not solving our issues. It's still not preventing irreparable harm. That is what the team and Jeffrey Kessler are saying. Now, the team say they would withdraw the motion for a third preliminary injunction request, so basically another opportunity to try and get the charters back if NASCAR continue to hold the 6 charters available in case 2011 and Front Row win that case. Now, like I said, NASCAR, they somewhat agreed to this, but they do this by creating 4 new charters, positions 37, 38, 39, and 40. Basically, NASCAR somewhat agreed to this by saying that we will give you back the 2 charters that y'all had already, not including the one each team got from the Stewart-Haas Racing closure. They are not getting that. That's what NASCAR is saying. NASCAR would agree to give 2011 a Front Row, or at least to hold the 4 charters that they had for a while now, not including the new one that they purchased from Stewart-Haas Racing. However, of course, 2011 and Front Row are asking to have the 3 charters each that each team had when they started the 2025 season. That is, once again, there's another issue there. But one thing though that is very interesting about this new development of this lawsuit is that we're even seeing now charter team owners, teams that actually signed the charter, have issues with how this lawsuit has taken place. Dan Torres, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, he is a majority owner of Spire, he as well as the owner of the Cadillac F1 team, as well as Andretti Global and other properties, has said that he is, quote, very disappointed with the direction the lawsuit has taken. Remember, Judge Bell did mention that last week, because of how this court case is going, that he hopes that 2011 Front Row and NASCAR can settle, because if not, everything will be open. Everything will be open in an open trial. But he also mentioned that it could put the entire charter system in danger of imploding if a settlement is not reached. Because again, if 2011 Front Row win this lawsuit, it could be the end of NASCAR's charter system. And that would create a whole nother can of worms, because those 13 charters that have invested tens of millions of dollars and poured all this money into it could all be for nothing. And then you have a whole nother issue in your hands that could have multiple lawsuits flying out of nowhere. Dan also said, quote, "We had meetings with the NASCAR brass a few weeks ago, and it's how we can help. What we saw in court, what was released in that case, is very inconsistent with what they, basically NASCAR, say privately. And so I need to understand, who am I dealing with? Which one is it? Is it the people we meet with privately, or is what you say when we're not around?" So basically what Dan is saying, hey, listen, NASCAR, what you're telling us is not what we're seeing in court. We're hearing something completely different from what you're telling us. So basically, give us the gist. What exactly is going on? What could potentially happen? What, could we lose the charge? Like, what is going on? Because y'all are lying. Y'all are not telling us what we're seeing out there. So what's going on here. Now, he would also like to see a settlement between the two parties, but it's very interesting to hear somebody that is from within, that has actually signed the charter agreement, say something like that. And keep in mind, this is Spire. It wasn't but a few months ago, there was a report came out that Jim France wanted to partner up with Spire to field a Cup Series car. I think it was at Sonoma, if I'm not mistaken. So for him to go out there and say that I think says a lot about the perspective of the lawsuit, how it looks between, from the people on the outside looking in, from the public, that even the teams that signed it, they're also a bit like, hey, what's going on here? Because what you're saying is not the same what we're hearing. So, yeah, I mean, he says he wants a settlement. I mean, I would be shocked if a settlement is reached. It seems as though everybody wants a settlement except the two parties. I'd be shocked if it gets settled, though. I think this is still going to go all the way to trial, which I feel like personally NASCAR does not want, because if what Dan is saying is true about how NASCAR, they're not exactly moving pretty smoothly, specifically with the France family. I mean, if everything is out in the open, ooh, boy, that could make the France family look extremely bad. But I'm just speculating at this point. But that's for another story. Let's move on now between two different racing series, NASCAR and Supercars. Now, since the introduction of the next-gen car, we've seen a flux of Supercars drivers move over and make one-off appearances in NASCAR. Obviously, the most notable one being Shane Van Gisbergen moving to NASCAR full-time. But we've always wanted to see the other way around, a NASCAR driver go to Supercars racing. We've had potential reports of maybe something like that happening with Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson that ultimately fell through, but now we have one that is officially confirmed. 2022 Daytona 500 champion Austin Cindric will compete at the season finale in Adelaide from November 27th to the November 30th for the Adelaide Grand Final, which is the final round of the Finals Cup, which is similar to the NASCAR playoffs. No comment. Anyways, he will be driving a third Ford Mustang for Tick Ford Racing at that event. He does have some real-world Supercars experience, having previously tested driving for Matt Stone Racing and DGR Team Penske, when Penske had a Supercars team that was with Scott McLaughlin, who is now part of Penske's IndyCar team. But this is awesome. Finally, to see the other way around, to see a NASCAR driver go over to Australia, compete in a Supercars event. Very interested to see how he can perform there. We know how good Austin Cindric can be on the road courses, so I'm very interested to see how he will be able to perform there. But it will be awesome to see. Obviously, I won't be able to watch it since it'll be in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping, but hopefully he can perform well, and hopefully this will create even more of that interwoven relationship between NASCAR and Supercars racing in the future. We're going to cap off our story with two IndyCar stories. IndyCar ratings are big for their season finale in Nashville. Now, last year on NBC, it had just under 500,000 viewers, a very bad way to end off NBC's relationship with IndyCar. Now, that went up against the NFL. However, the first season finale on Fox, oh Lord, up 138%, 1.14 million viewers tuned in to the season finale for the IndyCar season. Now again, yes, did not have any conflict with the NFL, but considering on how the ratings were in the weeks leading up to Nashville, it was not doing too well. So to cap off with a huge win is awesome news, awesome thing to see for IndyCar. This is also interesting that to see IndyCar ratings up so high, because I'm pretty sure I heard so many people that were saying, nobody will care about the season finale because the championship is already locked up. Really? All right. Yeah, keep continuing on with that lie. Again, I've said this time and time again, fans care about racing. Yes, a championship battle helps it, but that's like frosting on a cake. Is it necessary? No. You don't need to have frosting, all this other stuff, if a cake by its base is already good enough. IndyCar is good enough. IndyCar and Ovals is great. It was a fantastic race in Nashville. Doesn't matter regardless what the championship situation was going on. It was a great race. And if it's good racing, good people, good personalities and all that, people will watch. You don't need to have a championship battle in order to get people to start watching. Take notes, NASCAR. Now, like I said, IndyCar went up big in ratings. Unfortunately, though, they lose one of their big stars, Colton Herta. It was been rumored throughout the paddock this past weekend at Nashville on whether or not Colton Herta will be leaving IndyCar for Formula 2. That has now been partially confirmed. Colton Herta will not return to the IndyCar series in 2026. He'll be leaving Andretti Global to become a test driver for the Cadillac F1 team that's scheduled to debut in 2026. Now, Dan Torres, who we talked about earlier, last Saturday would not confirm reports on whether or not he is looking for an F2 ride for Colton Herta, but it wouldn't make sense. I mean, I highly doubt Colton Herta would not leave IndyCar, would not leave a team like Andretti, where he is performing well and winning races, to just be a test driver. I'm sure that he would make a move like this, a major move like this, if there wasn't something lined up like an F2 ride. Where he would be, don't know, but I think it's just all but confirmed that Colton Herta will be competing in Formula 2 with the hopes of replacing either Perez or Bottas, because I highly doubt that Bottas and Perez are going to be here for the long haul. It's just kind of like they're there to help get Cadillac F1 started, to make way for a Colton Herta maybe down the line. I'm happy for that. Love Colton Herta. Love to see an American back on the F1 grid, hopefully, or at least in the running to be in the F1 grid. But I am sad because IndyCar is losing a big star. But hopefully things turn out well for Colton Herta for his F2 debut in 2026. And hopefully, could possibly, maybe in a few years, could see him in Formula 1 down the line. But now that Colton Herta is leaving Andretti Global, that's a perfect spot for Will Power to slide in, and has been announced that Will Power will replace Colton Herta at Andretti Global in that 26 ride. I don't know how it's going to turn out for Will Power or how long he's going to be in that ride. I do think that he will still be competitive, as look at 2025. He was still able to get the job done. Won at Portland, still finished in the top 10 in the point standings, was the best of all the Penske drivers throughout their tumultuous 2025 season. So I see no reason as to why he still can't find success for Andretti Global in his career in 2026. I mean, they are so competitive. Kyle Kirkwood still won some races despite Alex Palou's domination throughout the entirety of the season. So I see no reason as to why Power can't still get it done in 2026. And who knows, he'll probably still get it done and probably be on pole in St. Pete. Probably, I'll confirm that right now. He'll probably win pole at St. Pete. He still got it. But what are your thoughts on the stories we talked about in today's episode? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, my name is Jet from MDK. Thanks for watching.